Yo, 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 around the Ecomiverse, episode 58. We got Danny the Bull, myself, and we've got someone else joining us a little bit later. If it sounds like I'm slurring my words, it's because I am, because I just went to the dentist. My whole side of my face is all like asleep. So yeah, let's go. How are you feeling, Danny?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. It's good to be on here. Uh, just busy with work, life, markets, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we're just chatting about our portfolios before we came on. Today's looking really nice and green. It's nice to have a green day after all. We had about 2 weeks of downtime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a big, nice pullback. I think, which a necessary pullback, and now it's like if I felt like a post ETF hangover. You know what I
yes.
mean? Yeah, there's
Yeah, it
so
was.
much hype, and the market was running so hard for so long that you need that pullback, that breather. Now the market kind of breathe, goes sideways a bit, and
Mm.
it's nice.
And what's crazy is it was only about a 20% drop. Like
Yeah,
compared to previous runs where Bitcoin's dumped like 30%, 35%, it actually wasn't that bad. But because of all the hype and everything and so much coverage because of the ETFs, everyone like made a bigger deal of it. Like, oh, Bitcoin's going to zero again. You know,
yeah,
it's had like 200 deaths now.
yeah. It feels big in the moment, but like you said, this whole cycle though, the dips on Bitcoin have not been more than like 21%. In
Yeah.
this new cycle. So I'm wondering if this one will hold, where it was, and we just go range bound for the next couple months and just stay, with that 21% drop, similar to the other two drops. And like you said, don't go down to that 35-40% of previous cycles.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you've been around now for a couple cycles, like a 20% drop is pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
that's just a Monday. Like that's not a big deal. Woo! We got some comments. Everyone's having fun.
Yeah. It's so interesting how we get conditioned to the volatility.
Yeah, for sure. We were around for that bear market. I mean, I was pretty much only holding Omi that whole time. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad for me. But if I held a heap of altcoins, and I saw a lot of them go down to almost nothing. That would have been pretty difficult. It was still
You
not
think it would have
not
been
close.
worse than just holding Omi? You think that would have been psychologically harder for you?
I think having every project go down rather than just having one might have been worse. But what I
Yeah.
did instead is I bought a whole bunch at that low, and so I just had everything come up, except
Now,
for Omi. Yeah,
yeah,
except for
that's
Omi.
all right. Yes,
Yeah,
you played it well, right? You bought a bunch of things, and this is the time. Right now is the time. It's still a great time. What's up, Muhammad in the house? It's a good time now to keep accumulating because halving's right around the corner, man. Only 8 weeks. It's crazy to think that January's in the rearview mirror. It's
yeah.
wild
And
how fast.
you heard about the Google Ads as well? They're allowed to run Google Ads
Yeah,
from
yeah,
today
yes. That Google approved ads, correct?
for spot Bitcoin ETF, all those companies. So like Google Ads is huge. That's like sort of like the biggest advertising now. I don't think TV ads get even close to Google Ads now because Google includes YouTube. It includes obviously Google includes all these partner websites as well. It's pretty much most like 80% of the web you can run Google Ads on now. So
It's wild.
like
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
if they pump in millions and millions of dollars into Google Ads for educating people on Bitcoin, it's going to help so much with all of it. It's going to help with the retail investors. It's going to help with the ETFs going up. I'm not sure if you've been following like how much Bitcoin the ETFs have actually eaten, but it's just going through the roof. And
I
the only
haven't
reason
seen
that
the numbers in the last few days. It's been a lot of
yeah,
inflows.
yeah, it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close to even with the outflows at the moment, but it's the outflows are going down now from
Grayscale.
Grayscale. Yeah, they're almost. I think it'll be probably close to zero by the end of this week, which would be awesome. That'll probably be all uptime. And we got a question here. Where's Rain? Rain's on holiday. I think he's. Yeah, I can't say the exact place, but I know he's somewhere else.
Don't
He's
dox
not where
him.
he normally lives. Yeah, he's away at the moment. BlackRock own 9% of Google. Yeah. Well, BlackRock also own a large part of MicroStrategy. BlackRock, they own a lot of stuff to
In
do
the
with
U.S.
they own
government.
yeah, they own like a quarter of the government. They own a whole bunch of mining companies as well, Bitcoin miners. I don't know if you guys knew that. Like they're invested in all parts of the ecosystem. So they're pretty committed to it, which is good for us. Did you see the potential Mario alpha? The Mario
Yeah, I don't think that's Mar. I think that's because it's on Switch, right? It's the Rabbids.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
what are they giving out? They're giving away a Rabbids game on Switch or something.
yeah. So they're doing like a bit of speculation that we might get Mario because of
That
that.
would be sick.
I mean, that would be something really good for MCP points, right? We need now they're starting to test our MCP points. We need some big drops so we can actually get people to properly bet their MCP.
Are you going to be betting some MCP on that
For
X-Men?
Mario,
Yeah,
maybe I've got plenty. How much? Do you know how many MCP points you've got?
not enough.
Not enough.
Nah,
Yeah,
not as
I mean
much as
compared to the big boys, I've got nothing. But
yeah.
for betting for some of these small ones,
It's
be
like six
fine.
figures, but nothing
But
crazy.
should we keep it for Pokemon or
I'm saving mine. Yeah, I don't have enough,
Dragon
man.
Ball
I
Z?
don't have enough to compete with these people who have like 1 million MCP points, and so I gotta be strategic with mine.
Well, the thing is, they might be very like. I think they don't run out now, right? I think they changed
Right,
that.
correct. As far as I know.
So you got bronze tickets and you got MCP points that'll both like last forever now. That means that if you hoard it and there's a lot of competition, it becomes a lot more scarce. Then later on down the track, they might be worth a lot more to get some of those bigger drops, like Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z. I think would be awesome. I
Yeah,
would
see, like
definitely see
Bill
them start.
Gardner. Bill Gardner's got 900,000. SoCal's got 850,000. These are people who are
Wow,
MCP millionaires almost.
wow. Hey, it's evolved. Yo, we're gonna get back on sometime. We've had him on here once before, once or
Hmm.
twice. Um, yeah, we've had a lot of. Okay, I guess we should go over the Omi news, right? Like we had MCP points being usable. That's pretty huge. We've had that article coming out saying that they're not going to have any other crypto in Veve. It's only going to be Omi, which like that's probably the most positive news we've ever had, if you ask me. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, I think the ultra bull case for Omi is that it's the native currency of the VV ecosystem, and so I think that's a positive thing to have them come out and say that. I think is dope. It'll be great once you can actually use Omi when they have Omi to NFT implemented. That was good news to hear.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some interesting comments here. Well, and look, we do have some news on Omi, which is awesome. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. The Comey Twitter has been like sort of doing updates every day. There's been something they've been posting about. It seems very active. Like things are coming now.
I think that's a shift in their the way they're going about things, which is I think is good because for so long they've been silent on the Omi side, right? And so I think that's with getting Foster aboard. I think that's a concerted effort now to just be more visible and vocal so that people feel the presence at least, even if there's nothing necessarily imminent, that in the very least they're visible, right? Because I think a big knock has been that they're dormant and they only retweet VV stuff. So I think that's it's a positive thing, even though we're still waiting on a lot of things.
Yeah, and did you catch Patient Hodler's videos?
I didn't catch the whole. I was watching it last night. I saw on his car ride home about the first 14 minutes of his video.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I caught
Did I
that as
miss
well.
anything at the end?
He's just so bullish, man. Like I've not seen
He's a
Patient
moon
Hodler
boy.
ever bullish on Ecomi, not like this.
You
So,
know what it is? Those
yo, Paul.
We made it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's say those live events. I know what hodler means because those live events will make you bullish because you're surrounded by enthusiasm, optimism. You're surrounded by people who are legit collectors. And so I think that, and then you're also picking up pieces of like alpha and things like that. And there are, whatever, MCP, they usually time it with, news. In this case, MCP points went live. And so you get this wave of optimism around these events. So I totally understand. When I was at New York Comic Con, I felt like a total moon boy.
Yeah, I think it was Patient Holder's first time meeting David Yu, and he met
Yeah.
Reese and Dan and all that. And that I think that changes people when they meet the team. Everyone I know that's pretty much met the team is a perma bull now on the Comey Veve side. And
I actually saw that. I saw him talking about it while he was driving back. It's hilarious. It's true. You get more of a bullish, I guess, because you feel the energy. It's very exciting to be in the same room with them and feel that energy. It's normal, and that's why I feel sometimes when you're in it, there's a slight disconnect because everyone that's at working with Ecomi, these guys are going to work, they're excited, they're seeing things going on, and then you have all of the narratives happening online that everyone's just waiting for something to happen, but they don't necessarily feel it because they're not every day excited seeing things, everyone's moving, so it's not easy, so it's cool to see them all excited because it shows that there's energy, so
For
yes,
sure.
it's
yeah,
really exciting.
yeah.
I can't wait to meet the team. Like, I'm super jealous that Danny, you've met the team. Paul, you haven't yet, have you? You haven't gone to any of those events?
No, I have not yet. No.
Yeah, same. I can't wait. I know David, you spoke to me on Vivi Magic's channel one time,
Cool.
saying that they're very interested in putting events on in Australia. So
Oh wow.
that'd be really awesome if we get something. I don't know, Melbourne, that'd be cool. That's for me, or Sydney. I don't mind flying a little bit. It's only like a hour and a half flight to Sydney. It's not far at all. So I will do that to come see the Omi
Yeah, they have a
homies.
good amount of people out there.
Yeah, I've got a list I've been putting together of people in Melbourne specifically, so I can try and put together like a little get together event. But I still don't really have enough. I got like 8 people from Melbourne. Obviously, we've probably got like several hundred. It's just that not everyone's reached out to me and stuff. So if you guys are from Melbourne and you want to get together for like a little Omi homie get together, message me on Twitter or on the YouTube contact page. You can also get to me.
How do you guys feel, by the way, with all these updates, only
Oh.
NFT and everything? Like, how do you feel?
Well, I think
what-
that. Go
what was
ahead,
that?
Jordan.
I was just gonna say, I think Bill Garner missed the video we had David Yu on. He was on our channel for like an hour or more. It was maybe 10 episodes ago.
He got killed afterwards.
Yeah, that was. I think Danny. I think it was your questions, right? It was 2 of
Yeah,
his.
sorry.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, it's, he just really shouldn't answer Dan's questions, I guess. Like, those are questions for Dan, so David doesn't know exactly how to answer them. What was that, Paul? Paul, do you want to?
Oh, yeah. How do you guys feel about all these updates and all these changes and all these announcements? Because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they made an announcement, but when's it going to happen?" But it's like, how do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, look, I think I don't like the changing of direction with utility wise, but I think everything else they've done is awesome. Like, I like to see progress and like they're here forever, right? They're not like there's not a pump and dump. This is not like
No,
most crypto projects are for one cycle. Like, they aim to make it big one cycle, and they want to get out with some big gains, and the project's gonna probably not even make it through the bear market for the majority of them. Whereas Economy's already made it through a bear market. I think they've sort of made it through 2 bear markets, sort of. Right, like they've been around for a while now, and they're just building more and more. And just think about Tesla. Tesla announced I always got this one here. They announced this car in 2017. It's 2024. That's still not built. That's 7 years later for $1 trillion tech company, right? And we want everything like now. And
yeah,
it's important for us bag holders, like for OMI holders, that we do need something happening this year and start of next year, or else we could potentially miss a lot of gains. Crypto Rain said, we're going to run anyway, no matter what.
I think so
But
too.
it's a difference between, like, do we run this high or do we run like to the moon, right? And so, that's partly why I've diversified, as pretty much everyone who watches this show knows. Paul, I know you've got a pretty big stack of OMI.
Yeah.
How diversified are you? Do you have a
Oh
lot of other?
boy, I used to I used to well, I'm big on ETH, and then I just swapped some ETH out for some OMI, and then I actually purchased a bit more. I'm like up to like 18 million now, so it's like I'm slowly getting there. This little shrimp that I am compared to you guys, but um, yeah, no, I used to have a big, because I got in, it was what, 2019, 2020. So I stacked up on Cardano when it was like 10, 11 cents, and then it hit to $3. And well, I'm talking Canadian. So then I got out of that. So it's like I kind of diversified and I put everything in Ethereum basically. So I then said, okay, what am I going to do with this Ethereum that I have? And then now I'm kind of looking at, like you were talking about it, Danny, like the NACAs, the chains, the trias, this a whole new world right now. It's like they're saying, oh, this is the new vet, this is the new Sol, this is the new,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm trying to get it going where I can understand where to go, because I still feel like we have time to accumulate. So I'm really big on ETH. I'm holding OMI, and I'm trying to decide what to. I missed the NACA from like last January. That would have been the best entry, but
Yeah.
there's like about 10 of them that I would have loved to jump in on, but I just didn't. So.
Paul, you told me before we started that you've grabbed a little bag of Epico.
Oh yeah, because of you. Yeah, I got Epico because of you. Yeah, and I got it at
it's
what
still
point?
1 million market cap, guys. Come on, 1 million market cap. Can't go wrong with that, right?
The only thing that I'll be honest, when I saw it, it's like I just love the fact that Omi is kind of like putting the. I feel like these are all like tests. They're throwing Omi in someone else's platform. I know that they also tried to show that they're going to have a new character, and it looked like Elsa from Frozen. I don't know if you saw that.
Is that for Veve?
No, Epico in July on Twitter, they kind of like just made the outline of it looked like a character. They said, very exciting. We're going to be dropping this character. Can you guess who it is? And then everyone's starting to post, oh, is that Elsa from Frozen? She's going to be one of the characters that are going to be in the game.
They've done David Yu NFT. Have you seen that? Epico have got David Yu.
That I saw. Yeah. So they treat him like he's a god. It's amazing.
Yeah. Venkatesh is a big fan of David Yu, and he only has good words about him. So
He's also
they've got a strong partnership.
leveraging that Veve community.
Yeah, for sure. They've got a strong partnership, right? And
he's
right now, I just competed in the Epico tournament yesterday.
How'd you do? You get your ass kicked?
No, I didn't get my ass kicked though. So in it's a tower defense, right? You can lose 3-0. I lost 1-2. So I took one of his towers. He took two of my towers. He didn't finish me off. He didn't get to 3. So I did okay. I've only been playing for about 2 weeks, and I think this guy's been playing for years. So this game's been around for quite a while now. It's pretty fun, and you can win OMI tokens, you can win Epico tokens, you can win NFTs. Was that Paul?
I like this game that looks like, because it looks like Legend of Zelda right now, but then they started to show previews of like stuff that it actually looks like a real 3D immersed game, and that like looked super cool. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think they might be using the same platform as Veve with the Veveverse. I think they're using Cavernous for Epico World. It's going to be online metaverse as well. And I don't know, it might connect into the Veveverse. That would be so cool if Epico World and Veveverse connect somehow. And they did say the NFTs will be interoperable from other platforms into Veveverse. What was that, Danny?
Yeah, if they could like port into Epicoverse can port to Veveverse.
Yeah, I think it's a case study what they're doing right now. It's a case study. They're literally getting their feet wet for what they want to achieve, and I think that's very commendable because it's not easy to do. So I can see the baby steps, that they're doing. So,
Ooh. SoCal has some alpha for us.
Spill it, SoCal.
David and Venkatesh, but he wanted secrecy. Oh, here we go. I saw the video of your battle, Jordan. You gave him a good fight. It was tight. Yeah, I went pretty hard. I've been mixing up my strategy in Epico Regal. So I wasn't playing like my normal cards. I was trying a new strategy and it didn't work. It also depends, like with Epico Regal, it's like a card game, basically. It's a tower defense game, but you've got cards that you can swap around and you have to use them at the right timing. And it's like if I have certain cards and I go against someone with a completely different set, you don't see them beforehand. It's just completely blind. It's like blind pick. So it really just depends on if you have a good counter to the other person. It's really on luck, really. There's not luck and strategy. But yeah, you can just get wrecked from having the wrong set of cards against a certain other set. But yeah, it's good fun. It's actually, I unfortunately am slightly addicted to it now, and I play it every day. But I, I used to be big into League of Legends. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
League of Legends was one of the biggest games in the world. I think it's still pretty big. They have massive world tournaments where people win millions of dollars. It's huge.
Is
And I feel
Epico
like
is it good? Do you enjoy the game?
Epico Regal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a mini version of that on your mobile that you can take with you and play whenever you like. So
Mhm.
it's just really handy. I also have been doing Duolingo, learning Spanish.
Oh,
So
wow.
Nice.
Between those two, I've got to I know my phone gives me a recap every week of like how many hours I've spent on it. And it's like you've spent an extra 60 minutes this week on your mobile. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Like, spending extra hours every week is not good.
That's funny.
Uh,
What do we got?
Danny, have you ever been a gamer?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up, of course, yeah, but not. I grew up on like original Nintendo system and N64 and
Yep.
Super Nintendo, all that stuff. Yeah, so I had like the early PlayStations, the first Xbox.
Yeah. I think I
But
was the same. I was the same.
once my kids were born, when my son was born 16 years ago, I stopped kind of like playing.
Yep.
I got PS4 like 10 years ago, and I played some
Mhm.
games, Last of Us, Wolfenstein, things like that, and I got back into it. But then I fell out of it. I just got a PS5 yesterday.
Woo!
Boys back. No
Yeah,
more
nice.
streaming, man. No
I
more
can't-
streams.
If I do that, my life will end because once I start a game, I need to finish it. So I had to quit at some point. Like I remember having ColecoVision when I was a kid because my brother was way older, so he had like the first Apple computer, and I was playing like the first Battlestar thing we're shooting. I forgot what it was called. The first Apple, like in the '80s. What was it? We just had it for such a long, and then we got ColecoVision, and then Nintendo. So yeah, we're out. And then on
OG.
computer, Wolfenstein 3D. I remember these old games were just insane, nonstop.
Yeah. I got to be careful because it's a time suck, for sure. It's
a slippery slope.
It's a
I
slippery
used to
slope.
play
I gotta
8 to 10 hours a day of League of Legends. That's what I
Oh
used to
no,
play.
forget it.
It
My
was
dad would
dangerous.
call me like irresponsible if I stayed more like a whole weekend playing Super Mario Kart with my cousin. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, Mario Kart's so much fun. So much fun.
Well, did you see the
Yeah,
post about
Space
Nintendo
Invaders.
Switch and
was
Omi
that?
or something? What was that? Because I saw it quickly, but what were they talking about?
Was his
Some-
Omi glitch?
Omi and Nintendo Switch on their Twitter. Someone had posted something where they're
Mario?
no.
You mean with the Rabbids game?
Yes, the rabbits. What I saw something fast.
So
but I
there's a
couldn't-
drop this week or next week or whatever with Rabbids, and they're giving away some games on the Switch, and that's led people to speculate that Nintendo Mario is around the corner.
Oh, that's what that
Yeah,
is.
Mike Kemp, I had Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't have a lot of patience sometimes, man. If I can't figure something out, I'm more of like I like games that are like straightforward. You know what I mean? And I had Red Dead Redemption, and I was just riding my horse aimlessly and stuff. I couldn't figure things out, man.
Oh, that's one of those role playing
is
ones where
dope.
you can just the open map ones.
Yeah,
those
those
ones-
open
those
map
ones
games
can
are
be
too tough for
frustrating.
me. Yeah, I'm old, I think. I don't know.
They can be frustrating when you don't know exactly what to do next, and you just sort of
Yeah.
wander around, and you got to speak to people and like find out who says what to do where.
Yeah, I get frustrated.
Yeah, so you like the shooters, just bang, 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 easy.
Yeah, something straightforward, man, or something, with a linear storyline where you're moving straight forward and then you cut to the cinematic
Mario.
cut scene and whatnot.
Speaking of that, in Crypto XR, they had a booth for that game. What's it called? Do you guys know what it's called?
Oh, yes, I saw it.
Oh,
Tengu game.
Tengoku?
Yeah, how do you say it?
Tengoku, I think it is.
Goku. Yeah.
Tengoku, right?
Yeah, they had a full booth for it set up. So that
That's
game
dope.
is going to be
I didn't hear
pretty
anything
big.
about it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And they had Omi, they had Omi logos and Ecomi and like red O's. It's like, so I think there might be like a decent amount of Omi burn from that game.
What I
And
would love for them to do is partner with a bunch of indie game makers, right? So you get like your Epico, you've got your Tengoku, and you get a bunch of small games like this that use Omi as the currency, and then you're entering a different sector, right? To
I
become
think
more of a
that's
metaverse gaming play.
I think that's maybe the long-term vision of David Hughes, is to
Mm.
make Omi the token that is for all these different smaller mini games.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
over time, you get like 100 mini games. That's going to burn a ton of Omi, right? And
Yeah,
we've got the
and
big
they'll leverage the community, and it can become like like a culture
Yeah,
coin in a
it's
sense,
true.
yeah,
right?
True.
and it is, right. It is a culture coin. Like
Right.
we've got like a cult, right? Omi's like a little bit of a cult.
The
Yeah.
reason why the community is so cultish is because they're passionate about the IP, and that makes them passionate. And so I think if they were to go that route, it would be pretty dope.
Yeah, Tim Goku has been working for years, right? It's not out yet, is it? I definitely want to
No,
try
it's
it
not
out.
out
It's
yet.
like fun. It's like one of those platform games. So, Paul, were you a bit of a gamer when you were younger, or?
Well, that's what the thing we were saying is just that I had to stop because or else I wouldn't. My life would end. It was just like everything would literally pause, and it was just too much. And it's like I remember back in the day, it was like, oh, then I got into the internet. When Madonna.com was purchased and they made $1 million off of it, things like that. Because I'm back in the '94. Like. So it's like I'm old as well technically, but still like I've lived through such different phases, and then I went onto the internet, and then seeing then the Amazons and the YouTubes come in, and then I leveraged YouTube where I actually became an influencer. I had like 40,000 followers, like 2009, something like that. It was kind of crazy just by accident, and then after that, here we are in the 2010s and on, and we're just going and going and going. So I kind of let it go. I let it go because I just got into the new tech, and now here we are, Web3 tech that I just love. It's so cool because it's still it's a continuation of the story of where we came from. From the good old days of Nintendo to now. Because it's
And because
huge.
you're so into Web3, it might be a
Yeah.
good idea to start trying some of the Web3 games, right? Because as you're saying, like Naka Games and GFL and all these other ones,
Right.
MK is going to have a whole bunch of games released as well. It'll be cool to try some of them. If you find one of the games that's really, really good, then you're going to know that's probably a good token to buy more of, because it's going
Right.
to be fairly addictive. Though that said, games come and go, but that's why the platforms are really important, because platforms usually last for quite a long time. Like look at
It can almost
Steam.
be like
Steam's
an
Steam's been
SLP.
around forever.
It could
Pardon?
be an SLP. What's it called? The game there? They're all SLP. The token SLP. I forget the name of the actual.
Yeah, I've heard of that. You mean Axie Infinity?
The Axiom Infinity. What if
Yeah,
only
yeah.
become an Axiom Infinity?
I played
Axiom.
Axie. I played Axie hardcore for 2 weeks. Like I was like, I was getting up there in the rankings.
Right.
It's a really fun game. It's a card game. Again, it's not that different to Epico, but it's obviously it's more computer.
Right.
You can play it on your mobile as well.
They reward
Um,
them in Axiom coins, and people in Thailand were making a living off of it in the bull run.
yeah, yeah, it was a full on
Is that
business. There
can
was
I do that?
shops that would accept SLP. There was shops
Mhm.
that you could go and you wouldn't have to use dollars. You would use
Oh,
SLP.
exactly. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's just
that was all layer 2, right? So there was no gas fee. It was like basically no gas
right.
fee. So
It's almost like Floki. They were using Floki in Miami to buy real estate in
wow, really?
2020.
That's cool.
I remember that people were promoting Floki. I don't know if it was a scam, but they were like you could purchase Floki, use Floki to purchase real estate in Miami. It was weird. It was like it was the Shiba Inu craze days. But
There's people capitalizing, trying to leverage, a hot market.
yeah, so I don't know. Maybe Omi could become an SLP. We don't know. It could have so much utility, or people can actually make a living on. I don't know. They could do so many things if they just play their cards right. You
Yeah, and
get a
I think that is the
just
long term
Omi.
vision, right?
Yeah.
David's not looking short term. He's looking like 10 years out. It's funny because I really like these sort of visionary CEOs of different companies. I really like Cardano with Charles Hodgkinson, he's
Mhm.
looking 100 years out. He's probably
Yeah.
looking the furthest out from any company, any project I've ever seen. Is he's looking 100 years out. What are my kids' going to be able to do with this token and the ecosystem he wants to build? And he's trying to build it in worldwide, and it's gone to Africa and helping. You can use Cardano in Africa in certain places,
Yeah.
um, and I can see David Yu's got like at least 10-year or more vision as well. And you know, Elon Musk probably has hundreds of years of vision with Tesla and SpaceX and everything.
But
So
think about it, 4 years have already passed almost since the last bull. Like like next year will be like it's crazy. Time flew. It just kind of flew, and to see this bear, it's kind of crazy because I never experienced a bear. I came in on the bear, and it's like I was like I saw everything low. I'm like, what's this sand? Oh, sand looks cool. What's this? I remember seeing all these stupid like all these tokens on Coinbase because that was the first thing I ever got. Like sand at I forget what it was at 20 cents or 30
oh, you
cents.
bought it early? Oh, nice.
I had some, and then I sold at like 90 cents, and then it goes even further because I didn't even know I didn't know anything. I knew absolutely nothing, zero, and I learned, and I have one of my long story short, I have someone in London that got into Bitcoin in 2000 and what was it? I forget what year it was. He was playing poker online, but they were actually using Bitcoin to play poker. So he started to collect Bitcoin for fun. It was like this website to play poker. And since then, now he's like massively retired. He's like younger than all of us. And he just bought like a 1.2 pound home in London, England with a studio. It's like, whew, all on Bitcoin, and it's just, he was playing poker and I don't know how much Bitcoin he amassed. And this website was just using Bitcoin I don't know, it's just crazy. And now he's like
Crazy stories, yeah, from the early days for sure.
nuts.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's got a hard drive with 100 Bitcoin on it somewhere. He doesn't know where it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because Bitcoin was nothing at one point. It was in the cents range, right? It was,
Yeah.
and you could also mine it pretty easily early on. So I have friends that were mining. I've friends that like one guy he set up a huge outfit. They had like $20,000 worth of computers, and he was
Jeez.
mining multiple Bitcoins like every day. And his electricity cost went up, and the halving the whatever no the difficulty went up, and then he suddenly wasn't making as many Bitcoins. And it wasn't quite covering electricity. And so he packed everything up, sold it all off, sort of broke even, but he
Yeah.
sold all of his Bitcoin. So he
Jeez.
would be pretty much retired now as well. It's crazy to see what's happened over the last 10 years. I think is Bitcoin 14 years old now? Is that right?
Yeah,
Even older.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Or maybe wait, no, I think it was 20. Is it 20?
It came on after the housing market collapse and all that,
Right.
right?
I think
So
2008, right?
yes, it's been around 14 years old or so. It's a teenager.
Yeah, it is.
Volatile
It's still
teenager.
early, right? That's what's crazy. Is
Yeah.
it will be in the multi-million-dollar range for Bitcoin in a few years. It's built in.
It's funny because here in Canada, because I'm in Montreal, Canada, it's just basically like 5 hour drive from New York, and I remember I was going out and I went to some crypto related events, and I don't know if you know, Danny, ShakePay is an app that you can actually purchase Bitcoin. It's like just another app that helps you. It's like a custodial, like you put cash in, and you can just buy ETH or BTC, and then they want to do like a payroll where you pay people out in BTC.
What is it called?
ShakePay,
Okay.
and it's very popular in Canada because it helps you. We can do they call it email transfers. We can actually just send the money into our account like instantly, and they offer that service. But long story short, I met the CTO by accident, and if you look them up on TikTok, they have like 500,000 followers. Like they're doing viral stuff where they go into grocery stores and say, "You have for 41 seconds, buy whatever you want, and ShakePay is going to purchase. Our Bitcoin is going to buy it for you." They're really pushing like that narrative of being like the crypto company in Montreal. And so I met him. And then I also met this other guy that came from, I think it was, I forgot what state in the US. But anyways, long story short, he had long hair, totally chill. And he was like saying, "Oh, have you guys seen my jacket?" He just interrupts us. We're just talking about crypto. And this guy interrupts, "Have you seen my jacket? I left my jacket somewhere here. I can't afford to lose my jacket." I go, "Why can't you afford to lose your jacket?" He goes, "Oh, because I'm just traveling a lot and I don't have time to go get another jacket." I go, "What do you mean? Where are you going? Where you been?" He goes, "Oh, I just spent 6 months in South America. Now I'm gonna just go another 3 months. Maybe gonna go to New York. A friend of mine." So I go, "But how?" I go, are you here for the crypto stuff? He goes, yeah, I've been in crypto for a long time. He goes, I've been working with projects that started with Solana, and I forgot the state. He comes from the U.S. I forgot. Super cool guy. And you know what I told him? I said, do you know Omi? Have you heard of Omi? He goes, yeah, I've definitely heard of Omi. He goes, I know it all. Like, this guy stopped working. He's just traveling the world. He's like a crypto. I don't know how much money he's made.
That's the dream, man. That's the dream.
And it was so cool because I had a chance to speak to someone that might know Omi. And I said, no. As soon as I said Omi, he goes, yeah, I know Omi. Yeah, Veve, I know it. It's like, oh my God. It's like, this is crazy. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not talking gibberish. And he was talking very eloquently. Like, he knew his stuff, that he's been in it since like 2014. And it's like, and then my mind was blown. Super, super smart guy. And he knew of Omi. And it's like, he understood the vision of what they were trying to do. He goes, but because everything is what's the word? It's like you just don't know where it's going, and he's very Bitcoin, very the big guys, But just in general, it's like I met so many people that missed that boat. They missed it, and it's just crazy.
I don't think anyone's missed the boat. I think we're still really early,
You
and I
think
think
so?
Yeah. In terms of crypto,
yeah,
there's plenty of opportunity out there now. Even this is going to be a big run, I think, and
This
a lot
could be
of
the last big run.
we're at the start,
Yeah.
man. We're at the very start. Like I think
this is
we're
going to
like
be a big run.
Yeah, I
we're
think so.
not even at the starting line. I feel like the starting line starts on April 18th on the halving. Right, that's the starting
I think
line.
it's gonna. No, I think it's gonna start like October.
I feel like this is the warm up. This is the warm up right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I think we'll go sideways till the halving. And traditionally, you get a little sideways action right after the halving. I think last cycle, Bitcoin was up about 10%, the month of the halving, 10% the next month. And then it went off like 40% in the second month after the halving. And then, what happens after that. The cycle before that, it actually went down after the halving, 2 months in a row.
A little bit.
Went down 5-6%. So I would just expect some sideways action for, March, April, maybe up a little. But then come summertime, I would expect, if history repeats.
I think like November. I'm thinking like Halloween.
A new all-time high would, if things line up with previous cycles, then, that's when the all-time high would kick in terms of, months after halving.
I think you got to take into account the ETFs too, which have changed everything. Which like they're sucking up all the Bitcoin off the exchanges like really fast. So Bitcoin's at an all-time low on exchanges.
It's going to be super interesting to see what that ETF does in terms of how Bitcoin reacts off of it this cycle.
Well, only because you guys know like Grayscale sold over $2 billion worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
1 billion of that was actually from FTX. So it's still FTX fallout, which has been dropping over.
We're still
dropping Bitcoin price. But also what was it? There was something. Mt. Gox been selling Bitcoin as well. So we've had like so many different people be just dumping Bitcoin at the same time, almost like it's coordinated. Conspiracy hat theory. No. But they all dumped at the same time. I don't really understand why. If they just waited a little, it would have held the price better, and then we would have got more money. But I think Grayscale couldn't control it, right? Grayscale basically.
These are people who are selling out of Grayscale.
Exactly.
Because there was there's like an arbitrage, or Grayscale doesn't trade at exactly the same price, right, as Bitcoin.
Yeah, they convert it to ETFs, and then people could now access their money they couldn't access before. People took losses, and a lot of those people are going to buy back in. So there's probably $1 billion or so worth of Bitcoin that's going to be eaten up about 30 days after they sold, and they've sold over the last 2 weeks. So expect the next 30 days some stuff's going to happen. I think we're going to have a lot more up than we expect sooner. So you guys think maybe it'll peak in November, like you said, Paul? But I think we're going to just
not peak. I think it'll start there.
Yeah, I think it'll start before that. I think it'll start.
No, I think it's going to start before that. Yeah, I think it'll peak out at around November or before November.
Really? Because when I hit in January of 2021, I literally was unknowingly putting just a couple of $100 or $1,000 here, $1,000 there, and within the week I was at $10,000, and within the next week I was up 20,000 on stupid coins. And I remember one was called, I don't want to shill any stupid coins, but like it's like something like it sounded like Doge. It was like Hoj. I put $1,000 and it was like almost like 15,000 after a week. And my friends were like, how come you made that much money in a week? I said, I have no idea. and this was like January, and that's the same time when I found the time. I don't know if you know, Danny. It was because of it's because of Elon Musk that I made a big killing, because he tweeted on Twitter, "I want a Shiba Inu." So I started to look it up. It was in January.
Yeah, I remember the story.
Yeah, and I bought that. So it's just I felt like everything I was getting into was exploding at that
That's what
time.
happens. Yeah.
It
Just get
was,
ready. It's going to happen again.
and I put nothing. I put a couple $100. I put nothing, like
That's the
zero.
exponential beauty of crypto, right? You get these 10x, 20x, 50x gains on these small coins.
I bought this stupid coin called Cat Girl because I thought, because Elon Musk loves the Cat Girl anime, that he said he's going to make a robot that looks like a cat girl, like one of his androids. If he makes a
Yeah.
female, he look like a cat girl. And I just bought for fun. I put $1,000. I remember one lunch. It was like September something of 2021. I'm literally having lunch and I get a notification that it's up by 30,000%. Like I had $30. And as I was selling, it came right back down and I got $7,000 out of it. I couldn't sell fast enough on Uniswap. I just could not sell fast enough. Like,
That is an issue with some of the tokens that don't have huge liquidity. Like
Yeah.
you gotta be quick about selling them.
boom, and die. So yeah. So I don't. He is right. I think everything is gonna go up. I think everything's gonna. It's gonna. It could be the last bull run, like of the ones that we're gonna remember saying that was the biggest one. That was the one.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting because this is the last one, I think, before there's real regulation
Exactly.
in the space, right? So that's
and-
the important thing.
And the other thing is with the spot ETFs, they hold the Bitcoin and they won't really sell it much. So it will stabilize the price like gold did when it gets to multi-trillion. And so I think we're going to get like smaller gains with Bitcoin, and it may not have, like, it really depends, because I feel like the miners really want to control the narrative with Bitcoin and keep the prices looking the same for the charts, because the miners dumped a lot of Bitcoin too. As long as Grayscale. I think they did that so the price stays pretty flat towards the halving, because that's what it normally looks like on the chart. I feel like the miners might try their best to try and keep Bitcoin's, cycles looking the same for the next cycle as well, if they can. So expect big dumps, at certain times, because they want to try and keep the narrative. But if ETFs suck up all the Bitcoin, that won't be possible. Even if they dump it, it'll just get eaten up, and that'll just kill the 4-year cycles. So if that happens, we could have a super cycle. Bitcoin could become very stable. And here's the thing: what happens if Bitcoin is stable and only goes up like 5%, 10%, 20% a year? If it just does that every year, then I don't know how all the altcoins are gonna be affected. It might just be permanent altcoin season. I don't know.
Right.
We're going to find out. I think a lot will have to do with regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that a lot of people that are like grandparents are starting to ask their kids, like, what's this Bitcoin? So it's kind of interesting. It's starting to become, it's moving really fast. The rate of adoption is moving really quickly. And I think maybe 2020, like between now and 2028, whatever the next run, it's all the average brick and mortar people that were super afraid. They're going to kind of start playing and start getting into it and getting the altcoin. Maybe they're going to get some exposure to the ETFs, especially if Ethereum comes out with an ETF. And then they're going to slowly get, so 2028 will just be as big, because there's going to be like these people just going to, the way we were like numbskulls.
And they're going to get dumped on.
Yeah, they're going to get dumped on. Exactly. So where we were in 2013, 14, 15, all these newbies are going to come in and start looking at all these projects and say, oh, I'll get Cardano at $7. I think it'll go to 50. Meanwhile, we're in, or whatever, or Omi, if it does something, people will be getting into Omi thinking that it's cheap at 7 cents or 15 cents, So it's like VeChain. I saw VeChain go from like a penny to like, what was it, 30 cents? It's why can't 20 be the
5
same?
cents, I think.
I got in vet pretty early. Yeah, did well with vet. And I have a friend of mine who he wrote it up quite a bit, and then he just didn't sell it, and he watched it ride all the way down. It's like Omi, really.
Yeah, I had even Crow. I had Crow, and I rode it all the way up to $1.20, and I got out at $1.10. I had it so cheap; it was super crazy. But yeah, no, I just don't know anymore. So I think we're the first wave where I think we're early, But I think we're so in it that we think that we're late. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I missed the boat of the 2021s of the Cardanos at a penny and the Ethereum at $200
No,
and
I think
only
it's
one
about
guy's
now it's about finding the next ones, right? Finding it. The thing is, like in hindsight, it's easy to know that Cardano is now Cardano, right?
right.
It's having the foresight to see what could, like if buying Caspa last year would have,
Right.
made people millionaires and whatnot. So finding those
Or
small
inject
coins that have the potential to become, mainstays or just do really well. And then just it's hard to pick the one. So it's, you get a basket of them and then see what happens.
Watch your basket. Yeah. You gotta
My,
watch it.
yeah.
Too.
My
I'm,
basket. Good.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I
What were
was
you
gonna
gonna
say I want to watch like the top 10 of mine. Like I've
Yeah.
got 33 projects now, but the top 10 are the most important. So like 95% of my money is. So I'm gonna really
Yeah.
watch those top 10 and work out when to start dollar cost averaging it out or selling, dumping more, whatever it is. But the bottom 23 or whatever, I'll watch them, but I'm not gonna panic over it too much. And I might take profits early on some of those smaller projects. I'm not 100% sure. Do you have a full strategy, Danny?
to sell?
Yeah, yeah. Have you written out a strategy, or you just
I've
gonna
written
play?
out like a par for some of my coins. I wrote out a strategy for my Solana bag.
Yeah.
Exit prices percentage wise at different prices.
Do you think it'll 10x? Do you think Solana will 10x from here?
From here, no. I think $400 I can see for Solana this
So
cycle.
it's like a 5 or 6x.
Yeah, I think it's like a good healthy 4x from here. I think it's at $100 today. I could see Sol going for about $400, be like a $200 billion market cap because I think Ethereum's going to $1 trillion. Ethereum's going to $7,000. And I think that Solana will be
Nice.
20% of Ethereum's market cap.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I value it.
I've got a lot of Solana. I might have to sell some at some point. But
And then I'm going to use my strategy for Solana is to use that bag as like liquidity for other bags, right? Layer out of Solana into the small caps, ride them up, ladder up and ladder out.
yeah, loving it.
It's
Like the
funny how
strategy.
Solana was founded by like these billionaires in California. Did you know that story?
Yeah.
And that they were openly going on podcasts, almost openly saying that it's a joke and that they're kind of like manipulating not the price, but it's like it was like a one big joke of guys just putting stuff together. And now these guys from there, they're like super laughing at everybody. It's like, I remember when I saw Solana, it was like such garbage at the beginning. It's probably still is like site. I don't even know how.
It's so cheap for transactions though. I know why, because they just print more
because everything
Solana.
else is ugly. It's
It's
super
cheap and fast.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Isn't everything cheap and fast?
No, like Ethereum
no.
is, super slow.
Well, okay, those, yeah. I
Even like
understand.
Algorand, not
Yeah.
Avalanche. Avalanche is not cheap. Like I pay like
Oh, really?
the gas fees on AVAX are like, yeah, when I was trading cock.
Yeah. I
Coin.
think Avalanche is based on Ethereum.
Cock, when I was
Yeah.
trading, when I was buying, the gas fees were like $20.
Danny, I'm pretty sure Avalanche is based on Ethereum, the way it runs.
Yeah.
That's why it's
I'm not
expensive.
familiar with
Yeah. So I think long term Avalanche will be the same issues Ethereum has with gas fees. But like Cardano is always going to be a little bit cheaper, but it's not that quick right now, and it has had issues with it being slow at times, where like a transaction takes like 2 minutes. That's not good. That's way too slow.
Isn't HBAR the quickest? Apparently, it's HBAR. No, the one that's like this whole new
Was
technology.
that Paul?
HBAR.
HBAR.
Yeah.
I haven't looked much into HBAR, but I watched a couple guys. They bang on about it, but I like to watch a lot of different YouTube channels and
Mhm.
really understand all. There's so many crypto channels.
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
That's why I'm just so confused of why it's doing so well, because they're kind of like it's like everything else.
Danny showing off his.
Mine just gets stellar. Oh no, no, thank you for that. But yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
stellar's
Stellar.
fast.
There's a lot of layer ones, right? There's so many.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just it's very very interesting. But for back to the only thing, I just think that what they're doing now, I think it's very smart. But it's just about them now. I think this year they have to kind of show.
This is the year.
This is the year.
This is
They
Obi's year.
They have to deliver this year.
Yeah, they have no choice.
This
because
cycle.
I think someone's going to come in with all the money in the world and say, look at this case study for 4 years now. Let's just duplicate that. Let's make it. Let's launch in 6 months. Let's get all the IPs. let's run. You know, they're
Nah,
putting.
no one's gonna be able to keep up, Paul. It's impossible. It's impossible. They're
You think
so
so?
far. They're so far ahead. Nah,
It's just because
I
I find, look, I don't want to be like negative, but I come from a computer science background. I just feel like, and also they hired programmers from Spain, things like that. It's
they have
very
100. But the thing is,
Blockchain.
Paul, they had 100. They had like what 30 employees at start of last year. Now they got 130. Yeah, that's a huge team
Yeah, but
now.
I don't know. I mean, but I know
it's
they
like
say that. But I would feel like things would roll out, like, with that type of manpower.
it's like
Yeah.
in Canada. It's like us resourcing India for websites and e-commerce and stuff. It's like that they're never going to really deliver, and they can never. It takes forever. That type of thing. Like it's so like, and we try to stay away from resourcing from different countries. It's like, why don't you just get it where they come into the office and they're there? Or unless New Zealand is not big on having a lot of
I think it's
programmers.
money wise. It's so cheaper to outsource to some
Really?
of those other countries, remote workers. Yeah, I was talking to a cousin of mine who started up this new business, and he said to coders and contractors or whatever, they out of Pakistan, they cost them $25,000 a year,
Right.
and that would be a six-figure job over here.
Right.
And they work, then they're smart, and they work nonstop.
I just
Yeah,
find
I've got a friend of mine. He's a broker, and he used to always do his meetings face to face. He said he hasn't had a face to face meeting since COVID.
Yeah.
So like, it like this is for people in the same area. It doesn't really matter now where you are because of like remote work is such a big thing now that everyone is doing it everywhere. So it's really not a big deal to hire somebody from overseas now. They have certain processes, so they have like group meetings and everything. Was that Danny?
No, I would say I do think, like Paul said, that there are opportunities for others to step into the space and build. Like you see, McFarlane just getting started. They really only have the DC stuff so far. But, Tom McFarlane has so many connections and has had so many licenses throughout the years. I'm sure that they're going to expand on what they're doing. So I wouldn't take anything for granted. This space is still super small. There are only less than 2,000 daily active users on Veve. That's nothing.
it's crazy.
It's nothing. That's like as many people in the school that I teach at.
Yeah, but you gotta think of how much money these people have that are in Veve. Like
Some of them,
to buy these drops all the time. Like these are not.
especially
These are the top 0.1% of income earners around the world, right?
some of them, right?
That can afford Veve drops all the time. So it's actually hard to get a lot of users that have this much liquidity available. Another thing I was going to say is, like, I to your point, Paul. MySpace was around for like 7-8 years, dominating it, and then Facebook came along, right? So yes, it is possible, but MySpace still had some really big peaks where their stock went crazy and they made heaps of money. They did really well. So if Omi is that, Ecomi Veve is that, we at least have sort of 2 or 3 crypto cycles, and then there's something else could come along and could overtake it. But I feel like that's many years away, and they would need to put so much time and effort in. But yeah, if you brought $1 billion into the space and you get a team of 1,000 people straight up, and you get all the different systems running perfectly so that you can deliver every single week a feature, yes, you could overtake Ecomi, but it would be something crazy. You need a huge company with unlimited money to do something like that, and I don't see it happening at the moment. There's just not enough demand.
And it connects with their IPs. You have
the hardest part would be getting the licenses too, right? And that's where we've got all the specialists like Alcan.
That's their
only
sweet
one
spot.
Alcan.
That's what they do well.
That's right.
But they do need to scale because
how old is Alcan?
like 78.
He's pretty.
I hope to God he sees 90 because we need.
I don't think he does much. I think he's more of a figurehead at this point. I think early on he was instrumental for them.
Okay, you don't think,
at this point, I think he's more of just like a symbol. And yeah.
But what I like this underbelly of Omi that everyone's kind of like, oh, that's no big deal. Oh, Omi 10, okay, who cares? No, I feel this is great because as soon as they get onto an exchange, as soon as they do something. It's like David, you posted, what was it, a pancake of Pokemon or something like that?
Yeah, he loves to tease Pokemon.
As soon as something big happens, all these people, wherever they are, they're going to rush there's gonna be such an explosion because the negative sentiment is just them just being fed up. But once they see, because they love it so much, I said it before. It's like your favorite hockey team or baseball team. You're gonna dump on them because you love them so much. But as soon as they win, they're like the best in the world. So it's like I feel like that's what's gonna happen with Omis. There's gonna be a couple of narratives. Things are gonna happen. Bull run. Oh, exchanges are. Oh, something like something that we don't even see coming, and it's gonna be like it's gonna go crazy. That's what I feel. So I'm loving this negative sentiment. I love it, or this feeling that they're not doing much or whatever it is.
Yeah, I've listened to quite a few investors, and a lot of them say when people come along, they say like this is a terrible project, you should not invest in it. They go and they invest, and they almost always make a lot of money because
Right.
a lot of FUD like is just frustration. It doesn't
They
always
love
end.
it. They love the project so much, and they want to see it succeed. So it's just
You know why? In the brain,
Emo-
right? The love and the hate are right next to each other.
right.
Right, the receptor sites or whatever, they're right next to each other in the brain. That's why people that like love someone, they've got a partner. The white like the biggest killing of people is like husband and wives killing each other. They're
It's like,
really
oh,
high
it's
because
funny.
because they love each other, but then sometimes it flips and it hits that hate, and it's got so much love that turns to hate, and it's so strong and such an emotional thing. That's why we have so many Omi homies, and we have like disgruntled, frustrated fudders that just won't leave the project alone because they still sort of love it partly.
Mm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I like this MCP thing. I think that they're going to be rolling out some interesting things this year. I think
MCP is a good thing. Finally getting that out is a great thing. And it also really gives Omi real utility because it, as it was, MCP was nothing, right? It was just points on a board or whatever. But we'll see what happens this year. I'm hoping that they, Wes said Omi might miss the bull run. I don't think they're going to miss the bull run, but they can underperform surely. The majority of, a lot of new coins. And I think that how well they do will depend on how much they do.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think they'll miss the run, but they might not perform as well. Like, just give you a good example, and you guys know I like Epico. Epico's a 1 million market cap. For that to go 100x, it just needs to get to 100 million market cap. In a
Yeah.
bull run as a gaming token, that's almost a given. Almost.
Mhm.
Okay, not financial advice.
Mm.
But with Omi, for Omi to do 100x, it's at 170 million market cap. It needs to get to 17 billion market cap, which it can do for sure. It could do 100x and do that. But the odds of it doing that compared to something else that's 1 million market cap going to 100, like it's, as a percentage and as just a very simple mathematics, it's so much easier to move 100 million liquidity in compared to 17 billion, right?
Yeah.
So that's just an example that I think Omi is going to do really well. I think it's going to outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, I'm going to say that straight up. Omi will outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't know if it will outperform other things like smaller tokens, like smaller alts, like MK and all the good ones. AI Tech is going awesome, guys. If you guys haven't seen AI Tech, definitely check that out. It's still really low. I think it's like a 25 million market cap. That one's probably going to go to $1 billion. So I don't know what that math is from here, but like a 40x at least, in my opinion. MK will do really well. It's still low as well. So Kumo saying that was intense. Yeah, look, Rain and Doctor Stuff and Brandy all believe that Omi could go to the hundreds of billions is possible, and I think it's possible, but the
It's not
likelihood
possible.
Danny said not possible.
It's not possible.
I think you're Danny the Bull. You have to be.
I'm very bullish, but I'm bullish on, it's not possible.
Yeah, you're realistic. You're bullish, but realistic.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
look, man, in the history of crypto, you've had 4 coins cross $100 billion. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Binance, BNB. You know what I mean? It's not getting there. So I don't think it's possible at all.
300 billion is possible.
Yeah.
So that would be.
I know crypto is like a crazy space and everything, but those are very, very big numbers.
It's like what happens if Vision Pro all of a sudden allows you to create apps and Veve becomes an app on Vision Pro? What happens if these things start to manifest in the next 5 to 10 years, where it becomes just general usage, where everyone's using it. Just like it took a while. I remember when they did a test on the internet saying they put people in a home, and for 30 days they had done some sort of test where can you live off the internet for the next 30 days, where they ordered their food and they had their things delivered, and they kind of like they were able, and people were like, oh, it's like a test. So I feel like we're in those days of stupidity where everything's a test right now. And if we were to like be able to hibernate and wake up in 2032 and see Omi at, I don't know, 12 cents, it'd be like, oh my god, I should just waited. I should just, or maybe even something else. I don't know. Or they were bought out by someone, or something happened, or maybe they got Pokemon. Who knows? But I think we're so early to this technology and game, because it just takes a couple of things, then all of a sudden it becomes the new thing. Becomes a new.
So
And
Bill
then
Bill
there's
Gunner,
space.
Bill's a big he's a big Omi bull, and he's awesome. Thanks Bill for many shout outs on my stream and other streams. I would like to say that Omi hit 4 billion market cap, I think, last at the end of last run, about 4 billion. So for that to get to 17 billion, we'd say 16 billion for easy mathematics, is a 5x. Yeah, my brain broke now.
You know what's
4x.
interesting? Did you watch my last stream?
I didn't have a chance.
Yeah,
Danny, when was
did
that?
you see it? It was about I talked about older coins, their second time around.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting?
A
I
lot
went through.
don't hit their all-time high.
Yeah, well, I went through the top 100 coins from last cycle, that had already seen a previous cycle, right? So it was their second cycle, the most successful coins that had already seen a cycle. 33% hit a new all-time high, right? So 66%. We're still in the top 100. Did very well. Didn't hit a new all-time high, but the coin that went up the most only did a 3x off its previous all-time high, and that was ETH Maxi, and that was off of Kim Kardashian.
Oh, Ethereum Max.
Yeah, when she pumped like ETH Maxi, it was ETH Classic, but she pumped ETH Maxi, and then like ETH Classic pumped. So that was the only one to do a 3x off of its previous all-time high. We talk about new all-time highs and big numbers. But it's important to understand also how how crypto has historically worked, and so I don't think it'll be necessarily easy to hit those numbers.
I just letting Harish know that 100x is not 30 billion market cap, because it's only 170 million right now. So 170 million times by 100, 17 billion. So we don't need to hit 30 billion to get to 100x. But yeah, but what I was getting at though is most cryptos that do well, they can do a 4x from the all-time high. So if Omi did a 4x from 4 billion, that would be 16 billion, which is basically 100x from here. So it is possible we could get 100x. But like Danny said, there's no way we'll get
it's
like
possible. Yeah, I think it's possible.
Well, not 1,000x, not like 100 billion market cap, but 17 billion. If the average of the top 100 projects are all at like 20 billion, I could easily see Omi in that top 100 around there.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, when in doubt, just look at The Simpsons. I remember they were airing an episode where there was a ticker of the bill, whatever, talking the news, and the ticker showed
Bitcoin
ETA at $34 and Bitcoin with the infinity sign. What if we're in for something, a treat between now and 2050, where all of the money is going to be transferred into this digital space, and we're going to see numbers that now it's like that video of that guy, hey guys, Bitcoin hit $111 today.
Yeah.
Like those days that you never thought that would be even possible. Like, who thought Bitcoin would be at 30, 40, 50, 67? Nobody. Like, it's crazy numbers. Like, you're used to hearing Google hitting 2,000 and then they split or something like that, or Amazon, but you don't see stock at 50,000. Like, these numbers. What if we're in that position where,
well, they would be at those numbers if they didn't split. The thing is that, like,
right, correct,
split, right? They do 3-for-1s, 4-for-1s, and split over time.
But what if we're like in that time frame where we're still so young, in that frame of mind where things are coming that we can't even imagine yet, and maybe things are gonna, when everything pours in, it's like I saw that chart of when they made gold an ETF, and it took what 15 to 20 years, and just went up and up and up and up, something like that. I forget what it was. There was a chart that it showed.
Yeah,
So that it
it's the
was like,
post ETF chart. Yeah,
yeah. So, but it took time. It was like,
yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
so
Bitcoin will get there, and
you
we'll
know,
see what alts are alive in 10 years, and all regulation is and all that. And a lot of people are going to make a lot of money if they,
yeah.
especially if you play the cycles right.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was in New York just for the holidays, right after New Year's, and I went into their new areas where they had built all these new buildings, whatever. It was a big mall. Just went for a walk, and I'm just walking, and I'm like, I look to my right, and I see a beautiful brand new office with big glass, and these massive this word right in the back with one security, BlackRock. I was like, oh my God, that's what I want. And should I go in there and do something? What should I do? It's like I felt very like I didn't feel good, but like I saw their new offices, like beautiful, brand new, everything. It's just also that narrative of like JP Morgan telling the government, if I were the government, I would squash Bitcoin. But now it's like they're turning around, they're saying like something different, It's just that I just think that we're gonna look back at these days and say, oh my God, Bitcoin at $111. I feel like we're in those times.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys, Paul? Have you seen? There's a post from like Reddit of this guy who, when Bitcoin first came out, he theorized what could happen to Bitcoin and how it could get to like might have been $100,000 of Bitcoin, but this is like when Bitcoin was in a cents range, and everyone told him
Wow.
absolutely bonkers and crazy, and he wrote out like exactly what could happen, and it played out like exactly like that.
It's crazy.
Maybe? Looks like you've seen it. It's
I
it's
did see
crazy
it.
how there's some visionaries who can see these possibilities, and sometimes these things happen. We can see Matt's talking about OMI becoming a top 20 token. That's totally possible if they pull everything off, right? If we've got people talking about we don't even know if we're going to be able to burn OMI for accessories at the moment. The last time we spoke about that on around the Ecomiverse with David Yu, I think it was, or maybe it was Dan. He said regulatory wise, they don't want to do that at the moment, so that might not be straight away. I would love if they have. We need burning, guys. We don't even have burning yet.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
wild. We could have
yeah,
burned. They could have burnt a lot of Omi during this bear
yeah.
market.
We've had so many big drops. We could have burnt like half the OMI supply, basically. Maybe not
Yeah,
not that much, but we need to get the burning going. If we can get lots of mechanisms of burning, I'm going to be super super excited.
but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how things are released in time. Timed with what the market's doing.
Right.
Yeah, for
Hopefully
sure.
they get some of these big catalysts out at the right times.
Awesome. Just checking in with a potential surprise guest. We'll see if they turn up. Little teaser there. Little teaser.
What do we got?
Someone talking about QAnon. Is that right? QAnon, maybe?
QAnon.
Dr. Profit could buy a billion OMI, send it to Burn Wallet. He probably could. I think Dr. Profit could do that. I don't think he would want to do that.
That would
I'm
still
sure.
be less than 1% of all the Omi.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, he wants to. I'm sure he wants to make money. That's why it's Dr. Profit, not Dr. Loss, like some people have teased. All initial tokenomics were so bullish. Yes. Look, Josh Day, I think we're probably going to get just about everything that we want. It's just a matter of timing, and I really really like the idea that OMI is going to be the main token used in Veve. I think that's awesome. I think people don't understand how bullish that is. That means people that are crypto natives, they might have to convert 100 Ethereum or a few Bitcoin into OMI to then transfer it in the app, and that way they can keep it in crypto and start using it in Veve as Veve grows.
And
Right?
there's also another thing that people don't understand, which is they're professionals at getting those IPs. They're not a next level metaverse company. They're not a next level, like they're literally managing, like they're creating two, three companies within one, and they're actually writing the story of how it would actually, like, all these NFTs and the crafting and now with the MCP points, they're literally creating history. They're literally they're in a cave and they're just going at it, and they're just creating a new road for everybody. So people understand they have like a big job ahead of them, and they're not necessarily the pros of everything. So to be the pro of everything, that's why it's taking so much time. It's they're trying to figure it all out. If they were the masters of the metaverse and masters of tokenomics and the crypto world, and because right now I feel that their strength is IP. That's what's keeping them alive.
Yeah, I
Even
think part of it though is like when you set yourself out in the crypto space and you sell a token, right? People expect you to follow through on it.
right,
And so the
right.
key thing is, if you're not an expert in that area, to surround yourself with people who are, and get things done. So we'll see. Hopefully now they're able to get these things done, and we'll see what happens this cycle.
I feel they get excited a lot. They see the metaverse. Okay, we're gonna get the metaverse going. Okay, we're gonna get that going. They're gonna get that going. I feel like they want to be everywhere, so it's kind of like starting to it bogs it down a little bit, which is it's nice to do, but then when in reality it's kind of like, oh my god, this is way harder than like we're
I mean,
saying.
that's what tech is, right? Tech is always way harder than you expect it to be when you're trying to get something working.
I definitely think that they were overwhelmed by their vision that they had, the vast, which is dope. Like the whole idea, the ecosystem, MCP, and all these things. It's just again, the communication combined with their delays.
But that's what I feel like. That's the magic. If they actually get it,
they got to get it. Yeah, they
oh
got to get
my
it done.
God, they're gonna be like legends. Like they're literally building it in front of our eyes. It's like me, like you were saying, MySpace, when I was on MySpace making these ugly websites, and then it turned into Facebook. Like it's like then YouTube came along. So it's kind of like
they have to move though, because like the world doesn't stop, like you said, right? All those companies. Yeah, and that's where like Jeremy Padawar says, it's a sprint, not a marathon, right? That's what he said. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they have to really move.
But that's why I'm saying it's good to have programmers. Then take out 100K in OMI and start paying your programmers and get 5 of them and make. And then no offense to New Zealand and Australia, but we know that they're kind of behind. They're a little bit behind.
We're always behind, man. Tell me about it. Everything we do is like a year or two behind.
If I go to Australia now and open up a car wash that serves coffee, man, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, it's incredible. It's like crazy stuff.
Don't tell everyone.
I have cousins in Melbourne, but like, yeah, no. When I went to Australia, it was like everything was like they're still listening to R&B 90s. Like it's like the new thing.
Is that right?
The R&B 2000s.
Jordan listened to Color Me Bad.
Everything's like a year or two behind. Like when I see like my kids like to watch YouTube, and a lot of what they watch is American YouTube, right? Because that's just mostly what's on YouTube. And so they watch all these play centers you guys have in America, and they're so much more advanced than ones in Australia. I'm like, man, I wish we could like go there and visit these places. They're so cool. They're like innovative. You guys like I know you're in Canada, but like in America, I'm sure Canada's similar. You guys like a few years ahead with your innovation on so many different things. And like, I don't know, it just takes a while to get to Australia. It used to be the same. Yep.
No,
you guys got kangaroos.
But you guys
we got kangaroos.
You guys have beautiful like nature. You also have like a more of an open mindset. Like in Canada, even America, that's like it's hustle and bustle. Just feeling New York, it's like there's no. I wanted to park my car in a parking lot, and it was $70 US for like 20 minutes. It's like,
well, in New York City?
Yeah, New York City. It's like you can't even park downtown. There's no parking. Like if you come to Canada, you could drive downtown and park, but there's no parking whatsoever. Like it's just that fast. It's like it's just next level stuff. And
that's the city.
I just feel like New Zealand is way behind, and Australia's still technically considered to be 20 years behind. So that's the other thing that
I don't think we're 20 years behind.
But you know what I mean? Like that's how the world views it, where you can
Yeah,
go there.
I mean, like,
and-
I'll tell you what though, Paul, if you've gone on any cruise ships, the ones we have in Australia are literally 20-year-old cruise ships that came from America and other places. So we literally buy their old cruise ships. So Australia gets all these like old ones, like, and most of them aren't new because they're like we get like the hand-me-downs. You can have the hand-me-down.
Right.
They're still good cruise ships. Like they're just leaking a little bit. There's a few spots that are leaking, and like
It's
you're like,
more
well, I
the
don't know if
tech.
that's good.
Tech isn't coming out of New Zealand. It's coming out of Harvard. That's what I mean. So it's kind of like they have a lot going on. So that's why you need to be patient. And maybe 2028 is the year for them. Who knows? Where it's going to take things to manifest in a metaverse style where you just put these glasses on, and you can see all your collectibles, and you never know. You just maybe it could be 2028. I'm just speaking. It just takes time for the tech to catch up.
We have an awesome question here. Around the panel, how would you spend $10,000 on crypto and NFTs right now? Personally, I would buy 0 NFTs. I would literally put it all in crypto, and I would go for maybe this is not financial advice. This is just me, and then I'll go Danny and then Paul. I would do about a third of it in Bitcoin. I would put so we'll say 30%. I'll put 10% in Cardano, 10% in Solana, 10% in Ethereum, so that's 70%. The last 30%, I'd go and I'd grab a whole bunch of small micro caps. I'd put 5% in 6 of them. Okay, so you would end up with about 10 tokens total, and that's the $10,000 used up. And I reckon that would do at least a 5 to 20x. And so you'd at least end with $50,000 to $100,000 by the end of the bull run. Of course, cashing out and everything is another matter. That's on you, because some people have hodled and missed out cashing out. Danny, what would you do?
Yeah, I'm into the small caps at this stage. Tectum, Tet, Games for a Living, Mint Layer, Medicaid, Hello, Mask, I like with a Q, Playable Games, AI Tech. Those are my biggest holdings in small caps.
Hello is good. Hello was Doge Dash before. I had so many Doge Dash, and they were like, "Oh, turn into Hello token."
What? How did that happen? So they airdropped you
They have
the
a game.
token?
Yeah, they have
It
a
was-
game called Doge Dash in
I
their
actually
Hello Arcade.
I have it, and I remember I had millions and millions of Doge Dash, and they were like, "Oh, we're rebranding to Hello." It was at half a penny of some sort, of whatever it may be. I forget the exact price. And now I'm looking at what 18 cents it hit. I
12
forget.
cents today.
Okay, so
It was
and
20
I
cents.
remember
Yeah.
they partnered with Snoop Dogg's cousin or son. I forgot his name.
His son is going to be in an upcoming show.
Yeah, so
They've
that's
got another great Shark Tank type show with a lot of big influencers in there. Altcoin Daily, Wendy O, Anthony
Right.
Scaramucci, Mario Nawful is going to be in the show.
Has it
Right.
started, Danny? Has it started?
That's February 8th. I think you can stream it in the Hello app if you're like staking the tokens. March, it's hitting a major streaming platform. They haven't announced which one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to be big. For me, 10,000 is very difficult. Depends on what you want to do. Because even I'm kind of like on the fence. Because right now I'm like hiding behind Omi, and because I just love the long term of it. Like I'm just leaving it there. But I'm putting it all in ETH at the moment right now, and I'm kind of like I missed out on the last January getting into these smaller ones that kind of pumped up. So kind of like now I'm kind of like I don't know. I'm kind of like hiding behind ETH in a 5x right now, and just stacking ETH and maybe
You
maybe
love
get
ETH, huh? You're an
thing-
ETH maxi.
I
ETH
guess, but
maxi.
I'm not really. I believe that that's gonna be the next big boy, to come in. What if it's 100 grand?
Yeah, I think it could hit 100,000. Yeah, for sure. By
You know what I mean?
2030. By 2030, I think it could hit 100,000 per Ethereum.
I could do nothing and just stay with ETH, and I could see a couple million if it does 100 grand. So
Yeah,
just
I
like,
think ETH is now deflationary, right?
yeah, well,
Pretty much.
yes.
Depending on
It is,
fees.
So it's kind of different. I'm in a different situation where I don't worry about putting $15,000 in OMI Canadian, whatever, and getting, 17, 18 million OMI. Like I just forget about it because I amassed so much ETH that ETH is my Okay, 2032, it'll be at 80,000. Okay, it's great. I'll have 1.22 million. It's fine. I'll be okay. So I can still work for the next 5, 6 years. So it really depends on your how badly you need the money, how much you have in there. Because 10K is really not. I'm sorry to say, I hate to say, it's not much. You
So
can't make
Paul,
generational wealth
have you
with it
seen
unless.
the ETH ETF is coming out potentially in May?
Yeah.
You
But
excited about that?
$10,000 in crypto could turn you into six figures, or even if you hit 100x in crypto, that's $1 million off of 10,000.
Or
That's
where?
quite possible.
Where in change in Trias? Where render?
No, there are. No, there are definitely 100xers out there.
Mhm.
I don't know which one's going to do it, but
Epico. No.
I don't
Epico
even
could
know.
100x and get to 100 million. Look at what's that token that we had? I
Miriam?
don't know if I think you might still have it because you love these small ones, Jordan. But I had it for a little while and I wrote it up and I sold it. What was the name?
Money?
No, it starts with a V.
V.
It's a little
Oh,
gaming
Vimp.
token.
Vimp.
Vemp,
Vimp.
yeah, a little. Vemp reminds me of Epico. Vemp is this Epico type game, right? It's just like little game or whatever. Vemp token. It got to 100 million last cycle.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah,
Go.
I think it got to 100.
100 million
So
confirmed by Danny. If it doesn't get
it
there,
wouldn't
you got to
shock
go
me if
Danny and
Epico had a run. I'm not buying Epico, but
Bitcoin's deflationary because people keep losing their keys. It's true.
yeah, it's
It's true.
100%. You got about
Uh,
almost 25% of Bitcoin
Yeah,
out of
a
circulation.
large amount.
Yeah,
Large amount.
for
Yeah, it's
sure.
awesome. Yeah, no, I fully see 100 million market caps on the tables for Epico. Imagine it hit $1 billion though. That would be 1,000x.
Now you're lost in the
I would.
sauce.
I think I'd be at like $25 million or something just from Epico.
What? How much is in circulating supply?
It's only 300 million. Only 300 million.
Out of what? What percentage?
Total supply is 300 million. Circulating right now is 38% of that. So it's about
Okay.
111
That's not that
million.
bad for a gaming token.
Yeah, it's only
Some of these
gonna.
gaming tokens have like 10-15% in circulating supply.
Yeah, I think the next 1 year it's only releasing around 10% of this token, so it'll be
That's
like
not that
50%. Yeah.
What about vesting and like when they can dump on you?
I think that'll be next year. So don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they said next year the team tokens unlock. So I'll probably sell some of it before then. We'll see how it goes. If it's going strong, I'll hold all till the peak if I can. Look, I don't mind selling after a peak. If you guys think about it, if you guys have watched, if you look at all the charts of all the peaks of Bitcoin, it goes down, it drops down a little, but then it comes back up again and it drops down, it comes back up again. You've got like so many opportunities, like weeks and weeks, sometimes months to sell out before things really dump hard.
You have to recognize it though.
Yeah, well, the blow off tops are easy to recognize, but we didn't get one last cycle.
Right, we didn't get one last cycle.
And also, it's kind of crazy in the research department because I was lucky. I had COVID, which eradicated everything I had to do in my life, and I was just at home looking at crypto. It was like literally 7 to 12 hours a day just researching what is this thing. I have the time. So even if you have 10K, you need to research like hardcore. You need to know. It took me a good 6 to 8 months to figure out what a stable coin was. Like I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like I was such a newbie. It's like, what is this? It's just like that 10K still means nothing. You got to do the research. You got to find those.
Yeah, you have to know what to do with it.
So it's like, it's not even about that. I see people putting in Solana coins silly. The guy put $100 in silly and he pulled out, I think, $8-9 million in the stupid coin called silly, just because they're following every damn coin that comes out and they're just dumping 100, and then they get lucky on one. So it's the research.
I've seen that. Someone put $100 into Cockinu, something like that, or no, it was Bonk. Someone put $100 into Bonk, and they got out millions of dollars. It's pretty crazy. You can't do this anywhere else.
You could have $100 and be a millionaire. It's all about the research, and you literally do not.
Or luck sometimes.
And luck.
Yeah, definitely some luck. Yeah, but so if you're in enough projects with a decent amount of money in each one of them, there's a very good chance it's going to go up. Like some of the safer ones, obviously, like we said, the big caps, like Cardano. I think Cardano's still got a 10x in it from here. Last time it hit.
What's it at? 50 cents?
Yeah, something like that.
I think it'll go to $5.
I hit $3 last time, I believe.
Yeah, $3. So, a little over 3. I think it can go to 5.
at least $5 or $6. So that'll be a 10. That's an easy 10x. Whereas, like you said, Danny, you don't think Solana's going to go past the 4x or 5x from here.
From here,
Some
because it's
people,
run so much already.
yeah, some people said it might hit. They reckon like $700, $800.
It could.
If it
I
did
don't think that's outside the realm of possibility.
And if it did that, right, Danny, get this, it would be the only big cap that did 100x from the bottom to the top. $8 to $800 is
$8, yeah.
100x for big cap. Like that's unheard of. That's crazy.
It got beaten down so much.
It did because of FTX. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they didn't even sell much of it. It was just mostly.
It was
panic.
just the whole attachment to it and the narrative around it. People were calling for $3. I remember I was watching well-known YouTubers. BitBoy said it was going to 0. And Wendy O was like, it's going to $3. I wouldn't buy any here at $8. It's not easy to buy when things are that.
I like BitBoy, but I watched his channel a fair bit, and I think he didn't cash out nearly as much as he wanted to at the top. He actually, I think he bag holded most of his bag.
It's funny because he actually called the top, right? He said November
he
of
called the top,
last year.
but he bag holded it still.
I remember I saw that too.
Yeah.
I think he bag hold like 80%.
Yeah, I watched this episode when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, and they're like, "Oh, we just beat the second time went up," But he wasn't telling people like this could be it. He thought it was going to go to 100K, 125.
I think he was right. Oh, I reckon he was right, and the FTX manipulation. They in court. What's it called?
Yeah,
She said they literally dumped Bitcoin on purpose. They were literally dumping the price of Bitcoin and crashing it. So basically manipulating and keeping the price down.
I don't even know how he's still alive. I don't know how that guy got away with everything. It's incredible. I can't even. I get a ticket for going 50 and a 30. That guy gets away with spending billions of dollars. I don't understand how he's still alive.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that he paid politicians on both sides millions of dollars. That probably doesn't hurt. But it only goes so far, right?
It's just crazy. It blows my mind, that stuff, because he's literally manipulated a lot of people's lives, everyone's life in crypto.
Yeah, Bill Garner says we're going to get $10 Cardano. What's that, a 20x?
That'd be a 20x from here.
I need to convert all my Solana to Cardano.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think that's just like the very bullish outcome.
Yeah.
For ADA.
That would be awesome because I have Bitcoin, Omi, Solana, and ADA as my top 4.
I sold my ADA. Sold it.
You're out of ADA completely now.
I sold it at 60 cents and I put it into TET at $9 or $10. So that tripled. And
so when TET goes up a bit more,
huh?
When TET goes up a bit more, would you pull out what you put in and put it back in Cardano? Because it hasn't moved really.
No, I think TET will outperform ADA from here.
Yes, it probably will, but it may not. Whereas Cardano.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to see what happens. But I haven't made my exit strategy for TET yet. It's only been a month. What's that?
Do you remember the TET supply? I've forgotten. Was it?
I forget, but when I look at I did like a chart on a spreadsheet on it, like $10 billion considering dilution, it would be like a $1,400 TET.
Ooh,
$10 billion market cap.
That's juicy. Man, there's so many projects. The things you could go crazy, right? You could go. There's over 10,000 projects. You could go crazy researching them. You'll never get through them all.
So those newer coins are the ones that are more attractive to me. You know what I mean? Those it's easier, like you said, to get to a $10 billion market cap in crypto than it is to get to a $150 billion market cap.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Especially on a first cycle with a hot narrative in that kind of sector.
Yeah. That's why I feel a bit overwhelmed. That's why I'm sticking to
it's very overwhelming.
I'm very overwhelmed. Sure. I'm a bit tired, actually. I'm a little bit tired, I'll be honest with you, because there's just so many things happening. It's like I'm just gonna.
You gotta take a break. Yeah, you gotta take a break sometimes.
It's research of like 4 years nonstop. It's exhausting, and
it's a lot.
Now it's like I gotta think about coins being launched on Avalanche and Solana meme coins, and oh my god, my brain. It's like, what's next? Crow is going to explode. So I think Crow is going to see their explosion. They're going to be a hot ecosystem.
And what's wild is when I take like the last week and a half, I haven't been very active on on social media or on YouTube, and I haven't been paying as much attention to crypto, and I feel like out of it. I feel like lost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's been like a week.
It's like to buy a Solana coin, I have to get Phantom to start swapping out like this.
Do it though.
So
Learn that stuff because
I
now is the
am.
time. Yeah.
It's so annoying. Or MEX. I don't want to get onto a new exchange because they're all on MEXC now. It's
Yeah,
like,
everything's on Mix.
wow,
See, I buy everything
I'm
there.
so exhausted with this whole process. And it's like, but if I don't keep up, I'm out. It's like
I mean, you're
So,
not. You don't
gotta
need that many
grind.
projects.
For the
Yeah.
next year, the next year is time to grind. Now is the time to do that, put in that work, put in that research, because this is the opportunity. You
Yeah,
know,
I feel
in
like
front
we've
of
only
us.
got a few months left to really stack. That's what my opinion is. I reckon 2 months and it's just going to be all uptown. You used to be able to buy in. It's just going to, whatever you buy is going to take off and you're going to feel like a genius. You guys have seen that meme? Like,
Yeah,
you are a genius.
looking them.
This
Yeah,
is not the bull market.
yeah,
you see, because I took a break last year, like literally a year ago in January, and that's when everyone was getting into change, NACA, and all these injectives and all this stuff. It was like,
yeah.
what is NACA? And I gave up. I'm like, I didn't even look for it.
Paul, I feel your
I missed
frustration because
everything.
But there's still time.
this is my first proper bear market that we just went through that I now realize that the bear market's where you can make like 8x's before you even get to the proper bull market.
Yeah,
So that's where you can just multiply some of your spare cash and then really take positions right before the bull run. So I almost see the market as multi-stage now, and I'm going to be way more ready if we get next cycle like the same. If we get Bitcoin dumps and we have after the bull run we get a proper reset and looks just the same, I'm for sure going to research way more during the bear market, early bear market, and try and grab some of those positions.
A year before the
I missed out as well. I missed out on so many. I had Senate. I had Senate before it did like an 8x and I sold it for something else. I don't remember what it was. It did like an 8x. I still got in and got a 2 or 3x, but still I missed out on like 5x there. With so many of them, I had UFO token and I sold it before it pumped up as well. It's when everything's like it just keeps dumping and it's going down. That it's hard to know the exact bottom, but yeah, you definitely can do some really, really good gains before we even get to the bull run. So I've learned that for next cycle.
Yeah.
But we've got to wrap it up now.
Right.
Obviously, we talked at OMI a fair bit, mostly towards the first half. If you guys want to give your parting words on both OMI and just crypto in general, that would be awesome. Danny, what do you want to leave the viewers with?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. First off, it's always great to talk to you. Good to talk to you, Paul. And I think now is the time, like we were saying, this is the year to grind, I think, and do that research. And I told my wife it's going to be a rough year in terms of my attention and where it's at, and there's gonna be some sleepless nights for sure.
No, I agree, and I appreciate also being on this because I think it's important that we use our knowledge to spread, I guess, logical information. Like you do that a lot, Danny, and I love it. I love watching what you talk about. And Jordan, I love that you bring the whole community together and you're so knowledgeable. So I'm honored to just be sharing this with you guys because I have too much information in my mind. But just going back, it's just, yes, the grind is there, but also at the same time, it's just like right now we need to educate. So we need to educate everybody because the things that I knew 3 months ago are not even valid anymore. The things I knew 4 years ago are not valid anymore. So the more we do this, and the more we inspire other people to say, "Hey, I'm waking up to this. I understand what this is." So we're like OGs. I like this. So I appreciate.
Yeah,
we're OGs.
I feel like going just from like one full bear to bull to bear is like you become an OG because it's so rough and there's so much that you learn. Like it's a full education, right? And I feel like a lot of people that are getting in this cycle, they may lose some money, and that's going to be their education, right? It's their learning.
You have to lose to learn.
Yeah, I just hope they don't lose their life savings, right? I've lost money. Danny, I don't know if you've ever lost money in crypto.
No, I've taken losses. I mean, I'm down on OMI.
Yes, that's right.
I've given away.
That's the only one in my portfolio I think that I'm down on now.
Yeah, OMI is my biggest loss for sure as well. What's crazy, my portfolio is almost all green, and then the bottom like quarter, all my really, really small ones, they're all down at the moment, like by heaps. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's like I had no one teaching me, and I actually gave away my seed phrase on a Telegram group. I thought it was the actual administrative person.
Oh, damn.
I'm trying to. And they actually wiped out my Coinbase wallet. My first
Wow.
two holdings.
Was it a lot?
It was Hoje and this coin called Kanga. I don't even know where I found them. It was like literally I was like a newbie, and they rode up to $30,000. I'm like, oh my god, I just
You
lost
lost $30,000.
$30,000. But that
Wow.
anger turned into, okay, I'm gonna. I felt like I was like my mom getting hacked by an Indian telemarketer saying that the IRS
Yes.
is gonna
Yeah.
attack you.
Yeah.
I was so angry that I got into it so much, and that's how I found my Shiba, and then that's how I got so smart. That anger, I flipped it, and I was like, how can I be such a fool? So if we can help people avoid that feeling, because I literally wanted to kill myself that week. I remember I wanted to kill myself, and it's like
Yeah.
that's how I found
It's
Shiba,
rough.
through that anger. I was researching like a madman, watching everybody, following everyone, studying. I was like a madman, and I fell
Yeah.
upon Shiba.
I had $100,000 loss as well. I've said it many times on this
That's
channel,
crazy.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I understand. I feel your pain. It was very almost like put me in depression when I lost
yeah,
$100,000 on a crypto. Basically, got rugged. C swap. You guys have heard the story before. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, make
yeah.
sure you do your research, guys. Like Paul and Danny have both been saying, you really got to research it well. And if you do diversify and you spread out over 10, 20, 30 projects, there's a lot less likelihood you're going to get rugged on all of them, right? Maybe one or two, if you're unlucky. And I feel like anything that's made it through the bear market now is probably going to survive for at least the next 18 months, right? So I feel like you're pretty good going to most things at this time. But yeah, always do research. Thanks so much for coming, both Paul, Lizzie, and Danny DeBull. I really appreciate having you guys on here. It's great to hear both your perspectives and how you approach the market. Because everyone I have on this panel, everyone who comes on around the Ecomiverse, we have completely different ways of doing things, but we all have sort of the same overall view that crypto is massive and it's going to be here for a long time. And so I really appreciate you guys coming on.
Thanks, man.
Yes,
Thanks for having us.
yeah.
No
Let me
worries.
know.